Please welcome John Crowley.
Good afternoon, everybody. I sometimes, when I talk about this topic, I ask people to put their hands up if they've ever been lonely. But I don't do that anymore, because everybody puts their hands up. We are all going to experience, if we haven't already, some period in our lives when we are lonely, or haven't got the right friend group, or don't have enough friends. It happened to me a couple of times in my life. My first job out of college was in Germany. I barely spoke the language, and it took me a while to develop a friend group. And then a few years later, when I moved to the United States, I moved to a little town called Petaluma, just an hour's north. Well, actually, it was 2 hours this morning. But the same thing happened to myself and my wife. We didn't have a friend group. It's difficult to make friends. I grew up in, you can probably tell from my accent, grew up in Ireland. My grandfather's and father's pub was a family business. And when I came to the United States, I went looking for that same pub. I didn't find it. And I kind of thought, how do Americans make friends with each other? It's kind of like, it was quite a serious problem for me. So what I started this is nearly 30 years ago, a thing called the Petaluma Pub Crawl. Sounds like a lot of fun, and it was. But it wasn't what you think it was. It happened 4 or 5 times a year. I'd send an itinerary out with 4 stops. And we always had a theme on it. My favorite theme that I kept on using most frequently was bring a book that changed your life. Can you imagine in this room if everybody had a book that changed their lives underneath their arms? It's an open invitation to have that conversation. And if I tell you about the book that changed my life, you'll very quickly know if you want to have another conversation with me. And so that idea of friendships and how they're formed was very personal to me. When I first came, I was a software engineer a long time ago. And I speak generally when how do we form friendships? Generally, it's through our kids, place of worship or place of work. We didn't have kids, didn't go to church, and I worked with 2 other computer programmers. So it was a bit of a bind. So I created this Petaluma Pub Crawl as a way of getting friendships. And those evenings were wonderful. They were magical. There were probably, 100, 200 people walking around Petaluma, all engaging in these wonderful conversations. And I'd kind of found my virtual pub that I'd missed so much. Where's my time? There's my time. Thank you. But it still wasn't enough. So in Petaluma, I was getting bored of writing code that was replacing other people's code and my code getting replaced by somebody else's code. I opened a cafe. We're celebrating 20 years this year. And the point of the cafe is to build social capital. That's the whole point of it. We used to have music 5 nights a week in the cafe pre-COVID. But I realized how damaged society was after COVID. And so when we reopened, we went to 1 night a week of music. And the rest of the other nights was what we call these community dinners, where we move all the tables into a big long table, and we'll invite everybody in the town that speaks French, or is a metal worker, or is a veteran, or whatever it is. My favorite ones of these is when we invite everybody who lives on your street. People come in, they sit down, they're kind of looking at each other, and it's actually very sweet, but kind of sad in a way, because they're looking at each other going, aren't you my neighbor? Or don't you live 2 doors up the road? It's transforming Petaluma. It really is. About 10 years ago, because the things that we do don't fit in the cafe, we opened up a nonprofit, Aqus Community Foundation. And the whole point of that is, again, to build social capital. It's connecting people who don't know each other. All these programs that we have are designed to connect people. Those community dinners, we've got these facilitated networking evenings where we connect everybody. We had one last week called Drinks with Shrinks. We had about 200 mental health therapists in the room. Now, generally, mental health therapists, they know all their clients, but they don't know all their other therapists. And it was a great way for them to get connected with each other. One of the projects that Aqus Community Foundation has launched about 2 years ago is this thing called Just Join Something. I've been wearing this button. It says Just Join Something. And it's remarkable what's happening in Petaluma. We really launched it a couple of years ago where we've showed the movie Join or Die. Thank you, Jared, for mentioning it earlier. We've shown that 6 times already in Petaluma to probably about 500 people. And when we host this, we had 16 membership organizations tabling at the last one that evening, telling people about the most unusual clubs that they've been part of. So me personally, I started this quest about 3 years ago by joining something called the Herman Sons Hall. It was an organization set up for about 100 years ago to help German-speaking immigrants find community. Then I joined something called the Danish Soldiers Club. Now, I'm not Danish, and I'm not a soldier, but it's a container of community with a wonderful facility. They have 29, out now 30 members, but it's growing. Last year I joined Rotary. We all know what Rotary is. This year I joined something called the Moose Lodge. We have had 70 new members in Moose Lodge with about 70 before that. So we're growing. The Petaluma Garden Club has gone from 93 members to 190 members. This idea of joining something to create social capital is happening. So my request to you is to join something. Now, don't just join something for yourself, because it will change your life. Join something for the person that you don't even know is watching you. It could be a cousin, could be a neighbor, somebody who doesn't have that gumption or that get up and go to join, unless they see you join. So change your life, change somebody else's life, and just join something. Thank you.